y'all. Good morning. I do have a disclaimer from last night on the live. So I set my alarm to wake me up so that I can get up and do the show. And I did get up when the alarm went off, but I laid back down. And because I still had like 30 minutes, but I had already prepped earlier in the day. And so when I laid back down, I fell back asleep. And so when I wake up, I had slept on this eyelash and she was tripping and I was sleeping. But anyways, I am my priority is being consistent. My priority is showing up. My priority is telling my story. And so here I am. Thank you guys for tuning in last night. Thank you guys for watching this. This is going to be part 2. But I wanted to read you all some information from some of the stuff that I ended up getting from a couple of people. And I sent 2 people 3 questions and they answered it. And here's how one of the people answered the questions. It says, the questions were, what is love? What does love look like? And how does love feel? And so this is their words verbatim. Love is comfort, the feeling of safety, acknowledgement, and forgiveness. Love looks like help without having to ask. Having hard conversations, thoughtfulness, and affection. What does love feel like? Love feels like a safe place, a familiar, warm place. Happiness, optimism, and security. Like, no matter what I go through, I know you will always be there for me and with me. So that's that one. And I have one more from another person that I asked. And this one says, I also asked this person, what is love? And this is what they had to say. They said, love to me looks like support, a partner, and a friend. Love to me feels like regardless of what we go through, regardless of what we got each other. So that's what that one was. And so y'all keep those in mind as I go down my little tunnel of situationships that I've been in. And again, this is why this will be on YouTube, because this is privy information, if you will. And I just wanted to kind of I just want to kind of go through a little bit of things to just to get my story out and just enlighten people's understanding, and hopefully you can relate. So and y'all, this is episode 2, right? So here's a couple of things that I wrote down for myself about love. It says, how could I have loved? That's one of the questions I asked myself when I thought about doing this series, this particular episode on love. How could I have loved? Now, when I say how could I have loved, I mean that from even up until I guess about 2 years ago, from the couple of relationships I had been in, growing up, of course, that were serious, I guess, from the kid's dad. I was such a young girl, I was 16. And then my next serious relationship, which was, oh Lord, crazy. It was 2003. And then after that, I got into, I guess, a kind of serious relationship in 2009. And then kind of split from that for about a year and a half in 2016, and got engaged to some other dude for a year and a half. Found out he was already married, and went back to the previous guy for another 10 years until recently. But anyways, so how could I have loved? So let's go all the way back. One, again, I already said that I was 16 when I got with my kid's dad. And we just started acting like little rabbits and having kids. There was, to me, no there was no future conversations being had. This is just to my recollection, y'all. I mean, there's always three sides of a story: my side, they side, and the unwatchers side. So I don't know, but we never had any real conversations about what our future was gonna look like. We never had any conversations about loving each other deeply and committing, and how important nothing was to us, or none of that. We just didn't have that. We didn't have that kind of conversation. I mean, at the age of 16, I mean, it's still doable. I see people get married young and the marriage lasts forever, I guess. But that wasn't my story. 3 pregnancies, 2 kids later. It just kind of, that particular relationship went down a rabbit hole. It was crazy. I really don't even know what it was outside of we were not ready at all whatsoever. Just was not ready. Like, how could we have been? Not only that, I kind of gave y'all a tad bit of insight on my early years of growing up. And again, how could I have love? I had no idea what it was. I was infatuated and I was in need. I just felt like if he liked me, I liked him, I guess. I was just a young girl. I just don't feel like I was in a place to be able to healthily say that I loved him and wanted to be with him and him only for the rest of my life. I just don't think that I was in that type of place. Even after, growing up, after he and I separated and I went my own way, I just, started doing whatever I wanted to do, dating whoever I wanted to date, which was, pretty unhealthy situations, if you will, because they were D-boys. And I'm leaving my children with people that the D-boys could pay to watch the kids. And I really don't know what that was like for them. They were really young. And so for me, living that life, being that young, being that unknowledgeable of parenting and all of the things, I just really didn't see anything wrong with it. I didn't see anything wrong with dating D-boys. I didn't see anything wrong with the lifestyle I was living. It takes you to mature, it takes you to grow up, and it takes you to live life on different terms, if you will, to realize that wasn't cool at all. Straight up, like, that was not cool at all. But for I think that like in my 20s and a little bit of my 30s, I was very upset with myself when I look back at that reality. Like, I was so upset with myself. Like, I really had to turn to God in that particular instance, because I was like, who does that? Like, did you not love your children? Like, who would put themselves in harm's way like that, dating a D-boy? Who put their children in harm's way, letting them go over to people's house? Not that the people were bad people, because I don't think they were. Still to this day, I mean, I love them, and I think that they were great people, but what about living that type of lifestyle was so important that you chose to do that? But I was young, and I'm not making any excuses for it. But I was very, very young, very, very naive, and I just didn't know what love was. I didn't know how to love myself. I didn't know how to love those children. I wasn't in love with the D-boys. I was just living life through that. But so the kid's dad was my first insight on what I thought love was, and then a couple of the D-boys, I kind of cut it for real strong, and I thought that they were people that kind of had strong feelings for. But after I looked at it, even in me trying to love my kid's dad or kind of love one of the D-boys, I realized, like, they were for the community. They were for the community, and to be honest with you, shoots, I guess I was too, because I was seeing several people, but not seriously, because I was so crazy about my kid's dad. And so I did that for years, and then I guess the next one, it was the next relationship, the 2003 relationship. To me, that was not love at all. I just learned a lot in the aspect of a a man being able to provide for me and my kids, a man being able to show us the world, and that he did, a man that cared in the way that he could, which was very unhealthy, but that's just who he is still to this day. And it's just so sad that that is who he is, because he was kind of great in his own way, but he was very horrifying. Very horrifying. So passing on to him to the long relationship, I knew that going into that particular relationship in 2009, that I wanted love. Now, I wasn't quite sure of what love really looked like, what it felt like, or what it was, but I knew that with that particular person, from the conversations we had, that he was who I wanted to love. He was one of the people that I would have chosen to love. And in getting into that, that's one of the reasons why I stayed so long. And I know that too is an excuse, but he was safe in his own way. He was just nothing like anyone I had ever dated. And we spent a lot of time together, and we was kind of friends. I felt like, at least I felt like, but women feel that way too about men. Like, if we spend a lot of time together, we can talk to you about most anything. We can laugh together. We can do stuff together. We like friends, but I guess I kind of love you in the way that I love you. But with that being said, that's why I feel like I've never been in love, because we can go back to the things that the two people that gave me their input, we can go back to the things that they said. You know, I didn't feel unsafe as far as being with him, or my kids being with with him as their dad, or however, but I couldn't say that I felt safe in the relationship being his lady, in the aspect of, the things that men make you feel safe about. I didn't feel safe, just in ways that I think women are looking to feel safe in. He was safe for me, though. He was safe for me as far as he wouldn't harm me or the children. And in that aspect, he was safe. He didn't do drugs or anything like that. He wasn't no clubbing kind of guy, so I felt safe in that aspect. But in the aspect of being comfortably safe, I don't feel like I was safe in that aspect. And I don't think I was emotionally safe, if you will. I just don't think I was emotionally safe. I didn't feel like the love that we shared was the kind of love that could last forever. I don't feel like that. And I also didn't feel like whatever the love that we had, I don't feel like that love was a love that was kind of oneness, if you will. You know how, like, in my mind, when you get married, love is oneness, like you become one in every aspect of the word. We didn't do that. Now, we weren't married either, but we didn't do that. And it was several times throughout the relationship that I felt like, it's gonna happen. But it was things that happened early on in the relationship when we were just kind of really just starting to see each other, that they couldn't let go of. And I get it. I definitely get it. I really, even though I knew that I guess felt like he was safe to love, I guess you could say I wasn't, because again, I had just got out of something that was so bizarre that I really should have took more downtime and loved on myself and got to know, some more things, and kind of sifted through some more things and let some things go, because I brought baggage. And he did too. He definitely did too. But we brought baggage, and it just wasn't a safe place. I think we both needed more time. I think we needed way more conversations, in-depth conversations. I just think that we just wasn't ready for the kind of love that I think that we should have been ready for at the ages that we were, and that at the ages that we are. And so, with that being said, I have no regrets. Good morning. I have no regrets. I have no regrets at all. But I will say this about this particular last little love interest. I feel like they kept me safe in the aspect of the years that we were together, or years that I could have just been doing me in the most probably disrespectful way, and I could have just been out there wilding, and probably ain't no telling what I would have really been doing, even though I knew that I was ready for something more. I'm just grateful for the love experiences that I've had so far, because I just wouldn't want to have to think about any of that over the years we've been together. I wouldn't have, the dating scene is, what they say, it's like, I forgot what they were saying about the dating pool, but I don't want to get in there. And I don't know what that's supposed to look like for me, now that I'm single again, and I desire companionship, but not on no level of playing. Just ain't. So I'm not even gonna elaborate on that. Just 0.0. I have talked to a couple of people, and I noticed that people have baggage as well. People are dealing with stuff that they don't even realize that they are kind of scarred from their last relationship. They don't know that just because the last person played games, don't mean the next person gonna play games. They probably cannot see you without your female genitalia. And so I just ain't willing to play those type of games. Like, who got time for that at this age? Like, I don't. And just the world in itself and the way things have changed, I just don't know what love looks like for me. I don't know what love looks like in this era. Like, I don't know. Also, I was watching a podcast the other night, and the people were talking about how love is different from like the 60s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s versus now. They were saying stuff like the men back then showed their love, and the women accepted it to be love as them being the breadwinners, bringing home the money to make sure that they had a roof over their head, the bills were paid, and the women's love was reciprocated by birthing them children and taking care of the home, right? Well, times today look very, very different from that. And because times look very, very different from that, love is more codependent, if you will. If I'm sad, can you come help me be happy? Whatever that looks like, hugging me, letting me lay on your shoulder, taking a walk with me. It's me and you. Used to, I think that a lot of the times back then, women had to kind of deal with things however they had to deal with it. The men didn't have no real role in their emotional state. And that's just what I see from movies and what I'm hearing on different podcasts as well. And I also feel like men weren't their woman's friend back then. And now it's almost like not even an option in today's world. Like, no, we talk, we take walks, we exercise together, we work on projects together, we talk about the kids together, we work everything out together, and I can call you my friend. That's nowadays. I really don't think it was like that in back in the days. I think a lot of things that were important back then are important now to us, especially if we are calling ourselves, loving someone and wanting to be with someone. But it just looks a lot different. But I want to dive a little deeper on the word love itself, and why I feel like I've never been in love. Well, for me, one, again, how could I have loved how broken I was back growing up? And secondly, I always, in my mind, knew that love sounded safe in the tone of your voice. Love felt safe. I could feel it in your hugs. Love cared. I just feel like when you care, you gently care, speaking life over our situation. You love, like, just spending quality time in a way that that I would feel loved. You would, do the little things that make me feel loved. And I'm not talking about spending money or gifts either. I've long kind of been past that, especially since I had been working jobs to where I can buy my own stuff. So, that's been long gone. But just in the aspect of know, sitting next to me with us sharing one cover and, watching a movie and probably falling asleep on the couch together. It's the simple things to me now, but it's been like that for a very long time. But again, the very long last relationship that I had, we had kind of gotten into something with no future plans either. And at the time, it was because, one, I didn't want to pressure nobody. Two, I didn't feel like I never once thought about like where we gonna be at in 10 years. I just didn't think about that. I never once thought about where's me and this dude gonna be at in 10 years. I never thought about the fact that I'm for you and you for me. I never looked at it like that. I never felt like maybe what was my role in this or what was his role. Well, I kind of looked at what was his role in it and what my role was in it, but we never really discussed it in the aspect of knowing what we wanted from each other, what we wanted for our future. And so, after the light bulb came on in that, I think, I don't know if this is fair to say, but I'm going to say it anyways. I don't think that love was on the table. Well, being in love, because I did love the dude, but I wasn't in love. And I don't think that from the years we had spent together and the few of the things we had went to and how long the time had passed, I don't think that being in love was on the table anymore. And so, I just don't know that, and there was some other things that we both could talk about about each other that I think that kind of took being in love off the table as well, just to be honest. But also, when I started healing in my 30s, I had so much stuff to work through emotionally. Of course, I started seeing a therapist, but I think that kind of closed him out. I kind of closed him out as well because I needed to heal so badly, and I was like, we were already in routine in this relationship. It was just a routine relationship, and so that routine was easy for me to continue doing. But I definitely put that on autopilot and just did the routine in my healing moments because my healing was so important to me that nothing else really mattered. Like nothing else really mattered because I knew that love was off the table for him, that being in love with him was off the table. I also knew that loving myself more was mandatory. I also knew that he would never be able to love me like I desired to be loved. Ever, never, ever. Just never, ever. And this was a 16-year relationship, y'all. And it took me a very long time to realize that it could never be what I desired in my heart and in my soul. And I could go on and on about that, but I'm not. But needless to say, sometimes I want to be his friend and sometimes I don't because I think about the things that I feel like shouldn't have even been a problem in the relationship. Or I think about some stuff that has been said and I just was like, yeah, no, we can't be friends. And so, and again, this is my side of the story. His side of the story could probably make y'all be like, oh my God, that girl is out of line. So I'm just saying. Let me say this, y'all, and my time is almost up. I think that whoever you're dating and whoever you call yourself falling in love with and having kids for, their friends and their family and the places that they go and the things that they like to do, it plays a very important role in being able to say if this is a healthy relationship or not. It really does. The dude's friends, the family, and vice versa. But the family, the friends, the things you like to watch, the things you like to do when no one's looking, all that stuff matters. And who are you when no one's looking? Do you fear God? Like, y'all, this stuff is important. Hence, again, why I've never, ever been in love. Because, let me see. The kids that we went to church all the time, we was young. We never talked about God, so that just wasn't going to work. The second one was the devil, so there's no way that he could have been, God-fearing, and that it could have worked. The long stint of one, we just every now and again talked about God, but God wasn't something that we just laid the doormat on, like entering into this relationship. Like, we're gonna stand on God's word, gonna stand on God's foundation, or even if God wasn't the focus, at least righteousness, at least, helping each other heal. Those conversations never came up. And so, to me, again, if God is not the forefront of it, if it's not the entryway of it, if it's not at least a factor of right, we're going to do this the right way kind of thing. If that is not the first conversation to be had, I just don't know. Well, I'm not going to say I don't know if it's going to work, because it can work, because people mature. That was another issue in these relationships. People mature, and they, desire to grow, and they desire to take serious, deep looks at things and want to have those conversations. And some people are not mature enough to have those deep conversations. Also, when it comes to loving the other party loving themselves, like, I ain't seen that yet, so I don't know. I would ask the question every now and again, like, what does that look like for you? And there was no answers. And so I don't know, because like in my heart and in my mind, I just really wanted to love you like you needed to be loved, and I wanted you to love me like I needed to be loved. Like, not that my happiness or my joy or my peace depends on the way you love me, but in a sense it really did, and vice versa. I don't know what my little old love bucket got in store, but I hope that it's healed, and I hope that I am healed in the most loving ways as well. I hope that it's forward. I don't like the circle talk. I don't like the gaslighting. I want you to keep it 100% real, respectfully with me, and vice versa. Like, what are we gonna be? I want to date you, and I want to date you seriously type situation. We don't have to put a time limit on the dating, but I do want you to know that I am dating for marriage type situation. I don't think it take forever to find out if we are compatible or not. I don't believe that at all whatsoever. I also feel like love is patient, love is kind, and love does cover. But love don't stand for foolishness. Love don't stand for disrespect. Love don't stand for you harming me and I look over it, or you cheating on me and I look over that, or me being frightened by you, or my children being frightened by you, but I love you and I stay. That's absolutely not. Absolutely not. And so, again, the love that I'm looking for is a love that is very open, very forward in what they want, very healed in the way that, like, you've been through this, you've been through that, you've done this, you've had talks with yourself, you've probably even been to therapy, and you know that, like, what love looks like for you. And I want to be able to have the conversations. What does it look like for you? What does it feel like for you? Have you experienced it in the past? And if you have, I don't care who, and I don't really even care when. I just want to know, did you feel safe? Did you feel seen? Did you feel heard? I don't want to know how they loved you or none of that, because I don't want to put that in my mind and me try to emulate that or none of that. I want to be genuinely me, and I want you to be genuinely you. I don't want to have to talk to you about any of my past relationships and what they did do, what they didn't do, how they did. I don't care nothing about that, and I hope you don't care nothing about that, because that's irrelevant to what we are trying to build as individuals trying to build something together in our own mental state, in our own capacity of healing and maturing and growing together. And I think that's the most important thing to me when it comes to loving now, me continuing to mature, grow, and heal. And that's one of the things that I kind of like. It's a deal breaker for me. Continuing to grow, mandatory. Continuing to heal in whatever aspects are brought up, or you are ever reminded of, that you are willing to work through that in the most healthiest ways possible. And also that when you are not okay, you don't gotta tell me exactly maybe why you're not okay, but tell me that you're not okay, and tell me what you need from me in that moment. And I need to be able to do the same for you. If I'm not okay, I need to be able to come to you, the person that is trying to love me, so many other videos coming, and so much things that I can say. Now, of course, like if you watch my everyday videos, I'll be like saying all kind of stuff because I'm thinking like, why you like that kind of situation. But trust and believe that beyond my why you like that, I want to hug you as tight as I can and just whisper all the great things in your ear, and maybe even like knock you upside your head like this, if that's what you need to kind of knock you out of the trance that you might be in that might be unhealthy. But at the end of the day, I love y'all. I love me. I want to continue to grow. I want you to continue to grow. I want to continue to heal. I want you to continue to heal. I want the love that comes to me, that is for me, to be healthy and ready and whole. And I promise y'all, in the bricks of me waiting to be loved properly, I am doing the work. And that's what love is to me. Thank you all. I'm pretty sure that not in the 6 weeks episode, we will revisit this conversation in depth from other perspectives as well. So y'all stay tuned. Continue to follow me at I Am Teresa Speaks on all platforms. Thank you.